Behind the Shades.
And I think sometimes human nature is we think we're invincible. I was able to do it in my 20s. I should be able to do my 30s, 40s, and 50s. What people don't realize, and I think you're bringing more awareness to that, is every decade older, our body's
Mhm.
different.
A
Even if you want
hundred
to
percent.
say your body's different than last year, because in your 20s, you're like when you reflect on it, you're like, maybe I went through something similar, but it didn't sound like you're 100%. But when you had that 4 year old, you're like, no, this isn't
Correct.
normal because you're relating it back to the other two and you're saying it wasn't like this. So I think when you brought the nutrition part in, I want you to continue to speak to it. Like, is it that women, because women are the ones that give birth now, is it that women need to fully understand what they put in their body at 20 may not be the same things that they put into their body at 40?
Correct. But what you put into your body at 20 could play a huge part in your health at 40. So I hear from people all the time, I've always eaten this way. It's never bothered me. I've always done things this way and it's never been an issue. Well, little things over time add up to big things later. So, who didn't eat like crap in their 20s, when they were in college? I mean, who didn't eat all the pizza and the processed foods? And most 20-year-olds aren't even educated about all of this. But that little bit of stuff over time does play a part in add inflammation in your body. I mean, we could go down a whole road of just all the things that it does in your body. But yes, when you're 40, you kind of got to undo a lot of stuff that you did in your 20s and 30s and start back over, for lack of a better word. You have eaten foods full of inflammation. So you've got to, which have kind of blocked some detox pathways. What you put in has to come out. So you've kind of got to unlearn everything. That's why I tell people all the time, you have to unlearn everything you've ever learned about nutrition and health if you really want to be healthy. You can't listen to the latest fad diet stuff. You have to really do your own research. You have to cut out the foods that are causing inflammation in your body because they cause systemic inflammation. So you may have to significantly change your diet in your 40s because you got a lot of fixing to do if you want to move forward.
It's like those fads you hear, 30-day booty burner diet, right? Or lose 12 inches in 90 days.
That's right.
And I look at it and I used to eat a lot of spicy foods in my 20s. Caribbean background, you have the spicy foods, Indian food, Jamaican food, African food, you have all these spicy foods. Now that I'm in my 30s, I'm like, I don't know about all those anymore.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. You pay for that later. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's a little
Exactly.
bit it's a little bit different. And I didn't think about because I don't eat meat. I used to be vegan in my
Mhm.
20s and then now I'm a pescatarian, don't eat seafood. And there's a time now, I can't remember my 20s ever hearing so much conversations about like your gut health,
Mhm.
healthy living. Are you aware of certain foods? Because I guess maybe before it became like a fad or cool, it seemed like kind of tedious. Like you hear people count to their macros, count to their nutrients, count to all these things. But then you realize that your body's an investment. And the best comparison I have is like a car. You want to make sure it's tuned right. You want to make sure it's the
Right.
right gas, get your oil changed regularly. It's not how we were maybe in our teens where it's hard to the wall and hope you live to be 65.
Yes.
Now
Yes.
it's a little bit different. You mentioned that you're helping women. What types of conversations, are you helping women with at this point?
So we have conversations around nutrition. I mean, that is a huge part of what I do with my one-on-one clients. We do nutrition and then we talk about exercise. Exercise is important, but I think people think that they've got to go run 6 miles or do cardio every single day. And that's killing your hormones. I mean, as a woman, you need to incorporate some strength training. It's not all about running 6 miles a day. I mean, it's not anymore. Like I used to love to run and I felt like when I had went to run, I wasn't running a mile. If I was going outside to run, I was going to run for 6 miles. I have a completely different mindset about exercise. I believe that if I move my body every day for about 30 minutes, and I love to do like resistance training with, just free weights, but that's probably my favorite. But I have just a whole different view about exercise now, because it's not about, for me, it's no longer about being skinny. It's just about being strong and healthy. I have a 4-year-old. I have to live 25 years longer than I ever, I have to live a lot longer. So it's just, I've learned so much about, the effects of exercise on your hormones. So we have those conversations. Prioritizing sleep. People do not, cell phones and TVs do not help people prioritize sleep at all. But people don't know why. People think if I get in the bed and scroll on my phone till I get sleepy, I'm okay. No, no, you're killing your melatonin. You're killing your sleep wake cycles. And so many bad things about that. We talk about just routine, and, honestly, we start with the basics, because people think that it is no, there is no magic pill, but people think that getting healthy is this ridiculous meal planning, exercising, just this huge thing. And it's not. It's simplicity. It is the simple things that are free that truly can get you on the path to health. The sunshine every day is free. The water you drink is free. There's just so many different things that people can do to start their path to a healthier lifestyle. But because those things are so simple, they want more. It's like, that's dumb. Like, even in traditional healthcare, my patients are like, well, I'm dizzy. Well, are you drinking water? No. Well, that's why. That blows their mind. They need some kind of major explanation, not just drink some water.
Do you find that it's because it's one thing to be unaware of what to do, right? Unless
Right.
you actually look it up, because there's probably a point, I know I had a point where I wasn't as knowledgeable as I am now, and maybe you went through the same
Right.
thing.
Right.
But one thing that I was always aware of was my own body. Like, when I would eat certain foods, I can tell, okay, this seems to be all right, this doesn't. When you're bringing awareness to the women that you deal with, do you find some of them have that struggle where they're not only not as knowledgeable in what should go in, but it seems like they're kind of unaware of their body's reaction to certain conditions?
Yeah. So that's a huge thing that we do. We not necessarily do like a full elimination diet, but I do have my clients try to do a journal and write down what they eat and how it made them feel. Like, did you feel bloated and tired and, just cranky after you ate that? Or did you feel good? Did you feel, let's try to pinpoint how some of these foods make you feel. And then because, highly inflammatory foods are highly inflammatory foods, but dairy for me might not do the same thing as dairy for you. So that's why I try to get them very hyper aware of being in the moment. Now, I like for my clients to live in a state of, like, everybody says 80-20, and I think that's realistic. But when you're working with me, let's try to do a 90-10. Let's try to be a little more cognizant of what's going on and get you to that 80-20. Nobody can live in a bubble. When you go to a birthday party, eat that birthday cake, but make healthier choices the rest of the time so that you can live life and enjoy life. That's what my biggest goal is, to help women have a healthy relationship with food.